Well, get ready, South Florida. Gable Stage producing artistic director Barry Newport joins us to discuss the latest offering at Gable Stage, Left on 10th, a play adapted by Miss Efron's best-selling memoir of the same title. This powerful play is capturing not only the attention, but the hearts of South Floridians. Gable Stage is also gearing up for an exciting move later on to the Coconut Grove Playhouse. This is a conversation you don't want to miss, and I want to thank you again for joining me, and thank you, Barry, for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me. It's too long coming. I'm so happy to be here. I'm honored that you asked. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And Delia Ephron, this is her autobiography, her memoir.
Yeah, this is an adaptation of her 2016 memoir of the same name, Left on 10th. Delia is the second oldest sister after Nora Ephron, who most people know from When Harry Met Sally or Sleepless in Seattle or Mixed Nuts or Heartburn or so many amazing Silkwood. I mean, incredible films, plays. Her parents were also playwrights. Phoebe and Henry Ephron wrote plays that were turned into screenplays like Daddy Longlegs. And then there's two younger sisters, Amy Ephron and Hallie Ephron. But Left on 10th is Delia Ephron, the second oldest sister's account of second love and second chances and this incredible series of events that took place in her life that culminated in this 2016 memoir that she then turned into a play, which was on Broadway last year at this time.
Why did you choose to put this on stage now, and how will it resonate with our South Florida audience? It's wonderful. I saw it on opening night, and the energy and the heart was there, and the acting was so subtle. I felt like these were my friends. This couple finding love were my friends.
Oh, good. I think it's also, I think the whole experience is very cinematic. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
100%.
Yeah.
When it became night and day, and the way the lighting came, and it was just beautifully done.
And you're sitting in such an intimate environment that you really feel like you're like it's the story is surrounding you and you're part of it. And I think that's been a really positive, for most of our plays, that's a very positive part of coming to Gable Stage. We're located in the vintage horse stables at the Biltmore Hotel. But for a play like this, which we approached as both a film, which in many ways it does feel like a film. It has an entire score that we built for the piece. But also it has 220 light-up moving books, and which are really flower vases, by the way.
Those are flowers, and I have like older eyes, so it was like I was squinting, but I was able to read I was like, oh my God, it's such nuanced. It's so nuanced. Every detail is nuanced.
Yeah, well, you're a theater person. I mean, you know that it's all in the detail.
The devil is in the detail.
In the detail. Yeah, I think the art is in the detail. So there's a ton of detail within it. But I think what you're referring to is on the 220 books, 55 of them have an Ephron, either the parents, Nora, Delia, or the younger sisters has a book that we chose of their pantheon of writing that we chose to put on the stage.
What is that like for you as a director? Because you also direct this. What is that like for you to read the script, and then find the actors, then labor of love to create this on a stage, and then poof, it's out into the world. What's that like for you, that moment when you transfer that to the stage, and the gift is ours at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think the people that describe it as having a baby, I think that's probably the closest it feels.
If I had to have go into labor for 3 weeks during to rehearse that, to have a baby.
Well, we rehearsed for 5 weeks for this because it is very complicated. This isn't just the first Florida production or first Southwest production. This is the first production that's happened. This is its regional theater premiere. Anyway, this is the first production that's happened since the Broadway production, and the only production that's happening at all. When I first read the script, I actually put it aside and said no, and continued along with building the rest of the season. And then I had this time slot available, which is, kind of a holiday time slot. I just thought, there's a lot of reasons for how we choose plays, which is really complicated in itself. But the simplest version of it is that it's like a menu at a restaurant. You want some appetizers, you want a dessert, you want some main courses. You want to make sure that you can make all of those dishes well with the resources that you have, with the kitchen that you got, and the people working in the kitchen that you got, and the space that you have. You want to make sure that financially you're going to be able to open the next night, So there's like many, 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 components to it for why we choose plays or don't. But I actually had put this one aside because I did not think that I didn't think that we could do it well with what we are working with in terms of the constraints of our space. And then we had 2 different patrons, longtime Gable Stage patrons, really, really take me aside and say how much this play meant to them. And so I looked at it again, and I had a very clear vision for it. I immediately could see very clearly, well, first I could hear very clearly what it should sound like. And then I thought we could cast it well because we have this fabulous actress, South Florida actress named Dalia Alaman, who's playing Delia. Dalia's playing Delia. And I immediately thought, I think we can do this. I think we can do this. I can see it. I can hear it. We will figure out how to make our antique horse stable the right size and configuration to tell this story.
So, without giving too much away, we have some pictures that we're going to run through as well. But let's talk about that. What is the play about?
The play is about a woman who doesn't think that she will ever find love again after her marriage of 33 years ends when her husband passes away from a very long illness, and her sister. And of course, this person is the real person. It's Delia Ephron. It's her story, and it's not giving anything away to say she survives this ordeal that she found herself in because she wrote it, and she's actually been very easy to get a hold of and talk to. And we're doing an interview with her at Books and Books. Dalia, who's playing Delia, is interviewing Delia on December 7th at 11 a.m. at Books and Books. Delia found herself through a series of coincidental events meeting someone that she had known way earlier in her life that she didn't even remember knowing, she had gone on dates with as a high schooler, and who reached out to her now in her 70s. And who she found second love with in the most unexpected of ways, only to then discover that she was terminally ill. And this is an account of all of that through the lens of a very delightful, hopeful, funny, human piece. And there's 2 dogs in it.
I mean, Honey and Charlie. They're the cutest little things. And then you have 2 other actors that play multiple roles that fly in and out.
Yeah, and you were mentioning that you've known Margot Moreland for a very long time. I mean, Margot is South Florida theatrical royalty. Not just South Florida. I mean, Margot's been around, been everywhere, and how fortunate we are to have her, in this, playing multiple different roles, which is very difficult. And also Ben Sandomir playing the other. By the way, Ben can catch anything. So I don't know if you recall, he catches pepper in the air.
I'm like, how did he do that?
Incredible.
I spent about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I always find that fun when actors come in and they have these like remarkable and often very unique special skills. I'm always searching for ways to stick that in. When can we put that in? He also is an incredible juggler, but we could not find a time to put that in. And then finally, playing the love interest is Stephen Schnechter, who
wonderful
audiences may know if you're soap opera fans from 17 Years on Another World. And all of these actors are like super high-end professionals. They've been doing this a long time, and they're all South Florida actors now.
And local theater. Here we are in local
theater. But I want people to know that local theater is what is local. We're housing everybody because I mean, I don't need to tell everybody like what traffic is like on 95 or how expensive it is to live in this area. So it's very challenging for artists to live here. So we are housing everybody because we want to make sure everybody can be on the at the show on time and be at rehearsal on time. And
what there's a quote that you put out. Barry's belief is that a theater company is a citizen in a community.
It is.
Rather than simply a place where plays are produced. Tell me a little bit about that. That's a great way to sum it all up.
Yeah, I mean, the regional theater movement came up in 1963, which was the beginning of a Ford Foundation gift, the beginning of the National Endowment for the Arts. Before that, there was not regional theater as we know it. There was New York theater, there was Broadway, which is commercial theater, and there was the road. There were touring shows, but there was not this nonprofit professional theater who the whole mission of which is, first of all, very unique for this country, but also it has the same premise as the Humane Society or the YMCA or any other nonprofit, and that is to be in service to its community. And the whole idea was, let's put artists in communities all over the country who are telling stories for and by that community, rather than New York plays coming to your town for one night only, and then moving on. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's something very special about being in conversation with people who are living and residing in your own community for your own community at the highest of professional levels.
I think also a play tells the story. It tells the story, a reflection of history. It could be a reflection of history.
Yeah.
It could be our humanity or inhumanity.
Yes.
And we can learn so much from a play. Because often, I remember when I was a little girl and I wanted to be an actress. And it was like, I could go into that mindset of that person on stage and feel their feelings and experience the life through their lens. And I think that's what, it's a reflection of who we are.
Well, it's a storytelling method where it is played before you. And that's a very, very powerful tool. You know, it's not just a book that, you know, is coming to life. It is a version of possibly the same story as, say, in this case, her memoir, but it has been reshaped to be active so that there is action happening directly in front of you where you see yourself reflected or you see your neighbors reflected. And that's a very, very powerful tool for empathy, of course, but it's also a hugely important tool for problem solving for communities. I always think of the 9/11 papers that started with, "We never could have imagined." And that is the role of the regional theater in a community. It's to be a center for imagination. It's for communities to come together and solve the incredibly complex existential problems that face all of us, and always have, by the way, you know, always have. It's one of the most important and sacred, much like church or synagogue, ways that you come together with strangers that you don't know. You sit in the dark and you have a communal experience, and you come out changed, having an experience with these people that you don't know, that only you and only they have had. And that's very special and very unique and very human.
I love the story, and I love, and you, if you haven't already gone to see Gable Stage, you've got to go see this play. It talks about humanity, it talks about relationships, second chances. We can all relate to that. And I think that's so important for hope and for knowing a continuum and the continuum of losing health, gaining health, losing people, gaining. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
and even though health is like a major and you know, being terminally ill is like a major part of it.
You could say.
Yeah, it's not heavy in that way. I think people leave feeling extremely hopeful and really delighted. There's a lot of fun in the play. It's a fun play.
And the wit, and I feel Delia Ephron's wit. There's so much wit even in the sad parts of her life.
Yes, exactly. She's wry in that Ephron family way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the rest of the season so folks can know what else is. This is running till
December 21st.
Yep.
I will say that it is selling very well. In a strange way, it is a holiday play. I don't know if it's the dogs or just the feeling of hope and second chances. Maybe it's all of that.
It's definitely Honey and Charlie.
Yeah, definitely.
So that runs until the
December 21st. But tickets are, there's a lot of shows that are already sold out, so people should get their tickets now, truly.
What are the days? Talk about the days that the show is.
Yeah, we
Sunday.
do 7 performances a week, double show Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, double show Saturdays, most Saturdays, and matinees on Sundays through the 21st. And then we open the new year with a play written and directed by Nilo Cruz called Sotto Voce, which is about the MS St. Louis and the tragic events where 800 German refugees were told by Cuba, come on, and then the door was shut, and then came to Miami, and the door was also shut, and were sent back, and about a third of them were killed in concentration camps. But this is Nilo Cruz's fictional telling of one person and her relationship with another person on that boat through the lens, really, of a Cuban journalist. It's very interesting. It's the first time that a full production of this play has been done in English in Miami, and Nilo reached out a year ago to ask if we'd be interested in producing that production, and we very much are. It's a gorgeous production, magic realism, and it's going to be just magnificent in our space, too. And then from there, I'm directing the Florida premiere of Prayer for the French Republic, which is really an epic tale that we've been working on for the last 3 years. There's 11 actors in it. It's a big, big show. And it talks about one family who has lived in Paris for 100 years. They had emigrated from Morocco generations previous, and now must make the decision about whether they can stay in Paris or whether they have to move to Israel, because the anti-Semitism has just become more than they can bear, even though they are a rooted, dyed-to-the-wool Parisian family. So it's a very interesting tale. It's also very funny, and it's a big show for this community. And
I find it very interesting. The 2 shows that are upcoming have World War II, anti-Semitic.
They do. It just happened that way. I was going
to ask you about that. Is it a reflection? We talked about theater reflecting life. Is that because of what's going on?
Absolutely. I mean, everything has a certain zeitgeist to it. But we choose these seasons almost a year. In the case of Prayer for the French Republic, we've been working on it for 3 years, just finding the funding to put it together. Because it just kind of happened that these 2 pieces are back to back, we started a Jewish philanthropy initiative, which has about 15 supporters that are making these plays together possible. And it's something that I hope to continue. We always produce a story that reflects the Jewish community in one way or another. It just so happened that this year we're doing these 2 kind of major pieces back to back. And we're finishing the year with a piece called Eureka Day, which is a really fun piece by the playwright Jonathan Spector. It's fun and irreverent, and is also a regional premiere.
Wonderful. And the history, let's talk about, you came on board 2021.
June of 2021.
Joseph Adler, who was an icon in our community, passed away suddenly.
Yes, considered the godfather of South Florida theater, who I knew as a young theater practitioner when I was working on the other coast at a different theater in my early 20s. I knew Joe as really quite the legend. And from my young 20-year-old eyes, I really, really looked up to Joe, and never in a million years, imagined that I would have the honor of taking over his legacy.
And tell me a little bit about your background as well. Where you grew up. How did theater get in your veins, in your DNA, in your cells?
I mean, we moved a lot, and I think that's a part of many theater people's stories, whether it's that they're Army brats or that they, in our case, my father was transferred a lot. There was a study done of how many theater people had similar backgrounds where, I don't know, I guess you're constantly looking for community in these new places that you come to. In my case, though, we were living in Columbus, Ohio, and my parents took me as a very, very young kid to see Babes in Toyland at the Palace Theater in Columbus, Ohio. And I was like totally enchanted by these toys that came to life, and it was done so grandly, and it really captivated me. And soon after that, in 1978, I saw the touring production of Annie. And lo and behold, I too could sing really loud. And we ended up moving to a suburb of New York City, Stamford, Connecticut. And I ended up singing really loud all through my childhood and had every opportunity one could possibly wish for, especially growing up in that area. And ended up, working. And whenever I wasn't cast, I would just do it myself. I would produce whatever I could myself. And if, you can make your own work, you'll always work. So that's the beginning of my story. But I don't know. I've been around coast to coast, big theaters, small theaters, big towns, small towns.
And it's nice to have you here. And
I've loved being here.
And I'm not getting rid of you. We're not getting rid of you. I'm just saying it's nice having you here with that passion and love. And Gable Stage has collected 76 different Carbonells.
I think it's like 80 something at this point. I think it's might be 86 or 87. I don't know.
Wow. And 160 performances.
160 performances, like 600,000 people have come through those doors, or we've gone to schools, and
we have a robust educational department too, with what you're doing.
Very, very. We have programs in the hospital. We have programs in Miami-Dade County schools where we go into the schools. Schools come to us. We have a longstanding program with New World School of the Arts. Our education. We have adult education programs that are very popular. We do these pre-show talks. I don't know if we don't do it on opening night, but every other night we do a pre-show talk for a half hour before every single performance. And that has really created quite a following, and people who are really interested in how to view this art form in ways that give them tools beyond I liked it or I didn't like it. Like, what are other windows into the work? And there's many, many, many windows.
And who conducts those?
Either I do half of them. My colleague, our production manager, does some, and we have a resident dramaturg who does the other half.
What have you learned through those talkbacks? Because it's interesting when it's in your head, and then you're wearing the hat of someone else is in their head, and what's going on inside. What have you learned from those talkbacks that you'd go, I didn't think of it that way?
Well, these are pre-show talks that we do before every show. So. When I do the my husband calls me a theater missionary, and theater people have done a really good job of keeping the curtains really tight, like don't look back here. But I'm kind of on the other page, that it's a fragile art form and it's a very human art form, and if people don't know, then they'll never know. And so my mission in life is to tell people how it works, how professional theater works. It's a very manpower heavy art form. It'll never be like cinema. You can never reproduce it. So it's always, and it always has been, financially very, very difficult, because you do have to be there every night. And not just the people you see on stage. There's a whole other group of people backstage. This play alone, we have 3, 4, 5, we have 6, 7, we have 7 people backstage, So not to mention all the people that build everything. It's amazing to me how many people don't really grasp that everything that they're experiencing at Gable Stage has been handcrafted for them and them alone. We're not bringing anything in. Every casting decision, every set design decision, every prop, every piece of choreography, every piece of block, everything, every music, everything is chosen for this production and this production only. So it's a very special, very locally based, and it will always be that way, And that's difficult for people that are, and that's what makes it different than Broadway, or commercial theater, where there's somebody waiting to make a profit on the other side. That's why it's nonprofit, is because just because more people may come to Annie because they've heard of it, doesn't mean that Left on 10th is any more or less valuable to do. And also, these are high-end professional actors.
Are they local? Any of them local?
They're all local, but they're all within a 3-hour radius. So that's why we're housing everybody. There's a lot that goes into even a 4-person play with 2 dogs. Not to mention the projection designer, the lighting designer, the scenic designer, it goes on and on and on and on.
You've been on both sides. You've been the actor. Now you're the producing artistic director. Where's your happy spot?
My happy spot is
whatever you're doing.
Well, there's first of all, there's art in being the producer too. Every decision is an artistic decision.
Absolutely.
Every financial decision is an artistic decision. And my title, producing artistic director, means that I'm responsible for the fiscal and artistic health of the company. And I certainly don't want, anyone else telling me what we can or can't spend money on. We spend a lot of time fundraising and a lot of time telling the story, not just our story, but the story of the ecosystem of professional theater in this community, which is a very special, unique ecosystem of many theater companies that make a whole. Everybody there. Some of the best work I've seen in my life has been in Miami. Do you agree?
100%. Because I've been to New York very recently. I was like, much better in stuff I've seen in Florida.
And so
Miami.
all together, whether it be Area Stage or Miami New Drama or Zoetic or any of the countless Actors Playhouse, just even saying those, like everybody's mission is very unique to them. And so all together, we make something very special. The mission of Gable Stage is to explore today's issues and ideas. And so everything we do is through that lens, which is a very powerful mission, I think.
Absolutely, 100%. In the moments we have left, tell me something that we haven't covered that you want our audience to know and that we can share.
Well, we have a teacher-student rush program where...
Is that like a fraternity sorority?
Without the paddle, yes.
I'm in then. I'm in. What's the age requirement?
Well, there is no age requirement. You can be any teacher of any age or any student of any age, and you just show up at the door starting 45 minutes before the performance, and you can fill any empty seat for any performance at any time. So that's one thing.
Is that a free service? Is it free?
Yeah, it's free.
To come in?
It's totally free. So the more students and the more teachers, the better. I think of it every time there's a performance and there's an empty seat, it's an airplane that takes off. You can never get those seats back. And I'd much rather have anybody in those seats, but especially students and especially teachers. So I'd love to spread the word about that. Also that we're there. I mean, the theater company's been in the historic horse stables of the Biltmore Hotel for 27 years. And if you are a Coral Gables resident or a resident of Kendall or Pinecrest or Brickell or anywhere around here, we're your theater company. And come on down.
Absolutely. And to get more tickets, we've been scrolling it at the bottom, and we're going to do it again. For the box office, it's 305-445-1119, or the box office at gablesstage.org, or visit their website at gablesstage.org.
Yep, gablesstage.org. Yeah. We are so grateful for you having us. Thank you.
And I am grateful for you for continuing with your heart and with soul and theater. There's something you can't describe in that moment. It's performed and it's gone. Whew.
Yeah.
It's in our memory, collective memory. But to be part of that is something
transformative.
It really is, and it elevates your soul, and you get to learn things about yourself and about people that are fictitious, maybe, or in this case, it's a real person, but their stories can really resonate.
And that humans can do amazing feats. Just how difficult it is just to put on that play is an amazing feat. And I think there's something in that too.
Late night, hard work, split nails, just the grime and grit of theater, but it's powerful. And don't miss this play, Left on 10th. I'm Fara Sachs. Until next time, take care of yourself.